When the World Series of Poker first kicked off in 1970, it looked nothing like the series we know today. And for every single year since then, the WSOP has evolved to reflect the current poker landscape. So now that the 2026 WSOP schedule has officially dropped, let's break down what's new, what's returning, and what we still don't know. Once again, the action heads back to the Horseshoe in Paris, Las Vegas. But this year, the series starts one day earlier on May 26th. As has become standard in recent years, we're getting 100 live Bracelet events. But the headline this time, 6 brand new additions to the schedule. And fittingly, the series opens with one of them. After last year's $1,000 Mystery Millions event absolutely exploded, pulling in more than 19,000 entries, the WSOP is doubling down on the concept. Event number 1 in 2026 will be the $550 Mini Mystery Millions. The lower buy-in is sure to bring in a massive opening weekend crowd. And the kicker? A guaranteed top bounty of $1 million. Talk about return on investment. Next up, on May 31st, the $10,000 GG Millions High Roller makes its WSOP debut. Then, on June 2nd, the WSOP Circuit Championship returns to the summer schedule for the first time since 2023. Pot Limit Omaha players are getting some love as well. On June 18th, we'll see the introduction of the $1,500 5-card Pot Limit Omaha 8-handed event. And later in the series, event number 91 is the $1,500 Pick Your PLO 8-handed, adding even more for 4- and 5-card enthusiasts. And finally, rounding out the new additions, event number 95 is the $500 Summer Saver No Limit Hold'em, a lower buy-in, high-volume tournament that should close out the series with the same kind of energy it starts with. Pair that with the lowest buy-in of the entire summer, the $300 Gladiators of Poker event, which wraps up the day before the Summer Saver begins. And you're looking at a stretch where Vegas is absolutely buzzing, all while the main event is playing out. Mass fields, budget buy-ins, main event pressure, it's going to be chaos, but in the best way possible. But of course, when new events get added, others have to go. Here's what didn't make the cut in 2026. Say goodbye to the battle of the ages, the old school versus new school showdown that pitted 50-plus players against their under 50 counterparts. Also off the schedule, the Poker Hall of Fame bounty, Lucky Seven's No Limit Hold'em, a 7-handed fan favorite, the mid-series $3,000 buy-in 6-handed No Limit Hold'em event, the $1,500 6-handed Pot Limit Omaha, and the $1,500 No Limit Hold'em Shootout event. Those are some real mid-stakes fan favorites, so it'll be interesting to see if any of them return in future years. And what we've all been waiting for, the possible return of the November 9th format. For newer fans, the November 9 was the format used from 2008 to 2016, where the main event played down to the final table in July, then paused for months before the final 9 returned to play it out in November. It created hype. It built storylines. It turned finalists into temporary poker celebrities. Eventually, the WSOP scrapped the format and went back to playing the main event straight through. But recently, there have been hints that a delayed final table or some variation of it could be coming back. Some believe it could be, at least in part, a response to ongoing criticism about the physical demands of the current main event structure, which Phil Hellmuth has been particularly vocal about, pointing out how taxing the modern schedule can be, especially for older players. The days are long, the series is longer, and deep runs now require an incredible amount of endurance. A delayed final table would allow players time to rest, prepare, and promote the event while potentially leveling the playing field physically. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but if the November 9 or something like it does return, it would mark one of the most significant structural changes to the WSOP in years. And finally, the online bracelet schedule. Last year, there were 33 online bracelets awarded, but with many pros speaking out about bracelet oversaturation potentially diluting the prestige of the game's top prize, could that influence WSOP to trim the online selections? We'll have to wait and see. That's your rundown of the 2026 WSOP schedule. Head over to typepoker.com for features, strategies, game guides, and the latest poker news. And don't forget to subscribe for our bi-weekly YouTube show, Type Poker News, covering the biggest headlines and the hottest poker drama.